Hey everybody, and we're back again live with the Sharpshootin podcast. This is a special edition, of course, as we're going to do our predictions for WWE Payback, the pay-per-view that's coming up this Sunday. Pete, say what's up to the people.
What's up, people? Back again. That's how we're
And
doing it. And yeah, we're going to get stuck into the predictions, like Mike said.
it's just like we just got finished having a conversation a few minutes ago, isn't it?
Just about.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the beginning of the pay-per-view card, which isn't the greatest card in the world, but I mean, after what 3 weeks, I guess we can't expect them to do that much.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so first match, kickoff match between Axelmania and Damian Mandow. Fuck me, come on, or is it Macho Mandow? I forget exactly what they're
Macho
calling
Man
him.
down.
Um,
Let me
yeah.
start by saying this is the reason I don't watch the kickoff show. It's not only Booker T. It is also the fact that the matches on it are just always so poor.
Well, I don't know. They've had a couple of good matches. Like I will say that the match where Cesaro and Kid won the title, that was actually a good one. That tag team 4-way match, that was actually a pretty good one. Um, it was cool to see Neville against Barrett. That was okay, but yeah, I guess for the most part, we pretty much, yeah.
We know what to expect. Predictions wise for that match, we'll just see with the pre-show predictions wise. I guess I can just go with it. Off the top of my head, that match could really go either way. Honestly, because I feel like the Ascension are going to come out or like interfere. But I'm going to go with I'll go with Macho Man down to win by pinfall.
See, this is the thing. Do we really need to talk about this match? The Ascension are going to get jobbed because the Ascension always get jobbed. That's the thing. And I'm sorry I forgot to mention that the Ascension is in the match, but I don't really need to mention that the Ascension is in the match because we all know the Ascension is going to get beaten by two clowns. So why mention the Ascension? Why? Why at all? At this point, what is the point of the Ascension being in WWE other than to get jobbed over? You fucking brought them up and tried to establish them as monsters. You've never put them in a significant match with someone that you allowed them to beat. Anybody who, outside of the New Age Outlaws, everybody that they've pretty much faced since then, they've gotten their asses kicked. What's the point of these dudes being there? They're doing nothing with them. They're making them into a couple of clowns, and now they're going to get beat by clowns, which is fucking sad. So, yeah, I'm going with Macho Mandow and Axelmania to beat the Ascension because WWE hates Victor and Connor, and that's it. The end. That's my statement right there.
Nothing else needed to be said.
Yeah. So with that, we'll move on to the next match. So, and mind you, you guys, these aren't in the order that they may show up on the card. We're not particularly sure as how they're going to show up on the card. So just keep that in mind as I list these off. Next up, we have Naomi and Tamina versus the Bella Twins in a tag team match, which I feel like is a waste of a match, especially since you have Naomi having this big fit about not getting a title shot. So what do? You don't give her a title shot. That's brilliant, WWE. Fucking brilliant.
I,
By the way, did I mention
to,
that we both agree that the Divas are just poorly managed. I know you guys are tired of hearing to say that, but the Divas are poorly managed.
Can we just why this is exactly like WrestleMania? Why is Nikki not defending the belt? Why is she in a tag team match? Jesus Christ! Yeah, no, I'm not even okay. We'll just go predictions, because that's just the only way we're gonna get out of this. Like this match. I'm honestly, I can't see a way Naomi and Tamina loses. There is absolutely no way they lose this match. Then again, I said at the last pay-per-view that Naomi would win, and somehow Nikki retained. Jesus.
Yeah.
Shit. So I'm going. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to go Tamina and Naomi. They're going to win. That's just how it has to be.
I just see the Bellas winning. This match is such a fucking waste. Yeah, I just think the Bellas are just going to win because they seem to like. It's funny because remember when Nikki was the heel that nobody cared for? It's the mean girl. Now they're face again. I don't understand what they're doing with the Bellas. In particular, the Bellas. I guess Nikki's only a heel when she's a jerk on the Divas show, and they need to sell that jerk persona from the show. I never watched the show, so I fucking don't know what goes on that show. If you ever catch me watching the Divas reality TV show, please slap me because I clearly have lost my mind. But I don't. I just think the Bellas are going to go over in a match that, poor Tamina, poor Naomi. You're two of your best wrestlers in the Divas division, and what's gonna happen is that Naomi and Tamina, they're gonna go over with their skills, but they're gonna lose somehow. That's how I see it. That's just exactly how I see it.
Yeah.
But next up on the agenda, King Barrett. Dude, really? You got to be calling yourself King Barrett now. Come on. Although, again, I am glad that they brought the King of the Ring back. I hope they make the King of the Ring just continue to do the King of the Ring and expand the tournament. I thought this year's King of the Ring was kind of bland because it was so short. I remember King of the Ring used to last about 4 weeks long. But I don't know. I guess they don't feel like they have enough people that they could push. It would have been better if they would have made it longer and spotlighted a lot of other wrestlers. But King Barrett's going against Neville, which why they dropped his first name, I still don't understand. But Neville is facing King Barrett again. And I'm really interested in this match because anytime Adrian Neville is in the ring, I'm always hyped for it. Wade Barrett's actually been putting on some decent matches lately. I don't really care for his persona, but lately he's been putting on some decent matches, so I expect this to be a good competitive match. What's your thoughts on
it? For me, honestly, it could be Bad News Barrett. Like we've been saying for ages, he's just. I don't even know why WWE are forcing the hand to keep him relevant, but. Obviously, you got Neville. This match, it could go either way because WWE want to keep Bad News Barrett in the spotlight, and he's been on some sort of a winning streak. But it'd be very depressing at the same time if he was to pick up a win here, like almost to the point of tears.
Yeah.
I want. See, this is the thing. Everything I want is I know the WWE is just gonna basically butt fuck it. I want Neville to win, but I don't know if he will.
Yeah,
in a sense, he kind of in my eyes he has to win, but when I say he has to win, WWE are like, yeah, no, he doesn't have to win. He doesn't have to do anything. He
Yeah.
doesn't even have to touch the ball. I'm going with never win. Never win. Just lock it in. Please, WWE, do not fuck this up. Do not.
In a perfect world, Neville would win, and that would actually help build the whole idea behind something I thought of when we were talking about in the other podcast about Daniel Bryan dropping off the IC title, and you mentioned how you felt like Neville could have been the champion. I think it actually can work out really well for him because they're going to probably, if they're smart, they're going to do one of two things. They're going to do a tournament for the belt, or they're going to make it a Money in the Bank match where they put in a pool of people who have to grab the belt in a ladder match. That's the two ways I see them going with it, like another IC ladder match to get the belt. And honestly, Adrian Neville in a ladder match, that has to be a fucking, like, that would be insane. But I also think that kind of before you do that, I feel like Barrett has to go over on him because we know Barrett's going to be in the mix. And if Barrett's in the mix, that sets up that storyline where Neville's trying to get the belt amongst all these people, and his biggest rival is probably his biggest threat. So, with that said, unfortunately, I'm going to go with Wade Barrett for this one. I honestly think that Wade Barrett is going to win this. They're going to perpetuate the whole King of the Ring thing further. And honestly, they kind of do need more villains to win because the heels don't get over as much as they used to, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a fair thing.
So, yeah, I'm going with Barrett for that one. But it wouldn't kill me to see Neville beat the shit out of him. Anyway, next up, we have a match that, why is this still a thing? I don't know. Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus. I guess Dolph is just upset because Sheamus didn't put his lips on his ass, so they got to do it again. I'm just going to go ahead and give my prediction now because I don't want to really say much on it. I think that Dolph's going to win. That's it, bro.
You and me both then. But let me just say, this feud needs to end. This is one of the most irritating, annoying feuds that the WWE, almost to the point where it has ever had. Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense. The feud to me does not make sense at all, and that's just kind of annoying. So I'm going to go
with Sheamus. So this is another match. I don't want either to win, to be honest. But okay, I'm going to go with the Sheamus win. It's not going to come clean. It's going to be a very dirty win in my eyes, but he's going to pick up the win. And hopefully that's the death of that feud. Hopefully. We can hope. One can hope.
Yeah, I guess. I will say this. I do like Sheamus as a heel. I think Sheamus does a great job being a heel. I just feel like this feud right here just needs to go. Dolph needs to be in a bigger picture. He needs to be in a bigger light. Sheamus,
he's really been held back though.
Yeah, and I feel like this feud with Sheamus is holding him back more.
To be fair though, Dolph is in he's in an awkward position because I know that I've heard that in the bigger matches he does get concussed a lot. He's like from overselling because he sells really well. He's known for that, but sometimes he does it to the point where he hurts himself. And it could be he limits himself from how far he can go, obviously the creative team also have a big part in that. He doesn't fit the build of someone that's massive, but he does have the popularity and the in-ring ability to go further. But for some weird reason, WWE have this thing where you have to be a certain size in order to be taken seriously. But this match doesn't do anything for anyone. That's just the honest truth.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't. It's another go. I mean, I guess it's a bit of entertainment. That's it.
Yeah. For those of you that can find some like great entertainment value out of this match, and yeah, it's about as far as it goes. But we'll move on to the next match because again, this is another match in the card. The Payback card is pretty weak as of this point.
Yeah, and this is like, it's funny because I feel like this match right here, this is the padding. This is the padding match because of the stipulation. So you're gonna have a 2 falls out of 3 match for the WWE Tag Team titles between the New Day and Cesaro and Kid. Now, how many? I want everybody watching this to let me know how many of you, if you had to pick one match on this card to be 2 out of 3 falls, would it have been this match? Pretty sure it wouldn't be. Even though I think it's going to be a really good match because you have a lot of talented wrestlers, I just don't think this is going to be the exciting match that everybody like. If you were to make the Barrett and Neville 2 out of 3, I think a lot of people would get hyped for it. So I just don't think people are going to be hyped for this, even though it could be like a showstopper match, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Well, it's just waiting and seeing right now. Like you said, no real interest in it as of this point.
Yeah.
So we'll move along to the next match and hopefully.
Okay, so who do you think is going to win though?
Wait, which match is this?
Hold on, who did you say that you thought was going to win the tag team match?
At a Sheamus and
no, the tag team match. Yeah.
I feel like the New Day. I don't think they're ready to lose it. In a sense, I'm just as much as I want to see them lose it. I feel like the WWE are going to let them keep it for at least another month because it is kind of, as bad as it sounds, it's kind of keeping the New Day at that point where it kind of makes sense to keep them together. Like it's getting them by in a way. So I'm gonna go with the New Day retaining.
And I think the smart thing is to actually keep the belts on them, or if you can somehow transfer this whole thing over to Money in the Bank, then fine, drop it. But as much as I hate the gimmick, the direction that they took it has made it worth the annoyance. Because they are really, really, like, it was annoying at first because it was just a shameful gimmick. Now it's annoying because not only is it a shameful gimmick, but it's a gimmick that nobody likes, and they're doing it in a way where they're making themselves even more unlikable from a personality standpoint. So you just really want to see these dudes fail. And that's the part of being a good heel. Them turning them heel was the best thing they could have done because you don't like these dudes. You don't want to see these dudes prosper because you think that they're fucking retarded or they're disgusting. And the more that they win and just keep bragging, the more that you just get that. Like the more I get that, I cannot wait to see these dudes get knocked off. And I feel like when they get knocked off, it's going to be spectacular. And I want it to be bigger than just this.
I completely agree with that. That's my way. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I just feel like WWE, they made their beds. They go, in a sense, they've made it. The New Day have won. Obviously, it was unexpected. I really didn't think they were going to win. They ended up picking up the win, should I say? And
Now WWE have to stick with them for at least another pay-per-view. Keep the belts on them. Let them brag about beating this tag team, and get them at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, no, and even if they lose, they can still keep them together. Like, as much as this pains me to say, I'm now comfortable with the New Day being what they are, given the current direction that they're taking them with, where they're just like these three. They're just annoying. They're just they're jerks now. It's like your goody two shoes stuff is more of an act. It's less clownish as it was in the beginning. Now that they have the smug attitude to them, you know, it works better.
I think that's the best thing, simply because I don't know what it's the best thing because the WWE, they need
This tag team. And the good thing about the New Day now is we hated them when they had no direction. They were just a tag team doing what they were doing, and it was kind of just like, like, why do they have to be there? But now that they've got a direction, obviously they're the tag team champions. They brag about it. That's how they go about it. It makes their whole persona a lot more interesting, a bit more bearable.
Yeah, it definitely does. And the one thing that they could do with this, which I'm sure they're not, is that okay, you have the feud with Kid and Cesaro. Once you get past this, if you let them keep the belts, fine. Now every week they have to face a different tag team, another like hot tag team or a tag team that you want to build over. Like, okay, they win. Now face the Lucha Dragons. Okay, you beat them. Cool. Now face the primetime players. Get them back in the mix. Okay, you beat them. Cool. Now you guys have to face the Ascension. You beat them. Cool. Have the tag teams like start to heat it up. Start to mix them up against different people. Have them have great matches against these tag teams. Get these other tag teams in the know. Form tag teams if you need to. But whatever you do, have these dudes be fighting champions. And that's the thing. We don't really have fighting champions when you think about it in the WWE anymore. Like, you'll see them defend the belt or you'll see them walk out with the belt, but it's either non-title matches or they're defending against the person who they just took it off of or they just defended again. It's like WWE doesn't seem to be able to separate champions from one particular contender. Therefore, they devalue the whole point of having a belt because you're not defending it. Again, it goes back to what we were saying about John Cena and this whole open challenge thing. Even though we all know that he's going to lose, it's still good because he's putting the belt out there and he's fighting for it week in, week out. So it builds luster to the championship because it's always, a chance that somebody's always willing to come after it, and he always has to defend it. So that's where I see, and I do think that the New Day are going to win.
Yeah, I think we're on the same boat when it comes to that. When it comes to the New Day, that it sort of just has to happen. So that's about it from that, man.
All right, so even though the site has these ordered this way, I'm going to skip over the one I have ordered next because it's more important than the one that comes after that. And the one that comes after that is Bray Wyatt versus Ryback. A match
another. Let me say, I just want to do this quickly from my point of view. This match is another kind of it's a weak match on the card. There is no real reason for the two superstars to be going head to head, other than the fact the only logical thing in my mind is they're either trying really hard to put Ryback over by having him beat Bray Wyatt, which again would mean Bray Wyatt loses another feud, or Bray Wyatt is what I'm expecting. He's due for a win. He has to win a feud. He has to beat someone of potential popularity. Like Ryback, as much as I hate him, he still gets a fair bit of pop when he comes out and does the Feed Me More thing. So it could be a good way to get Bray Wyatt a win on some scale, just to keep his promos and stuff relevant.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't think it makes him relevant. I just feel like Ryback is the most, in my opinion. I'm sorry again. Apologies if I offend any Ryback fans, but he's the most relevant superstar on the roster. It's like they build him up to be such a relevant, person in the mix of things, but he really doesn't. I mean, he's not. He is in no way, I think, gonna ever be taken serious for any title. I don't even think at this point he can be taken serious for the IC belt. I don't know what this does for Bray. Yeah, I don't know what this does for Bray, because it's like, okay, you beat this guy who he's sort of a star, but he really isn't. It's like, where's the push for Bray? Where does this go? Honestly, if they really wanted to push Bray after that match with Undertaker, instead of just having him cut promos, have him go out there, wrestle, and beat people, and show us why he's the new face of fear. Get him in the ring more often. I don't mind his mic work, but he's pretty much becoming just mostly all about the mic work, which I'm not liking. He doesn't wrestle enough for me. And they need to get him out there wrestling and just dominating people and making you believe that, maybe he is the new face of fear, the way he's running through people. You don't get that with him. And so it just infuriates me, like, at how they're doing this when they could be doing it so much better.
Like, that's where I feel like a big opportunity was missed at
That's a big opportunity was missed at WrestleMania. Bray Wyatt if he had beat The Undertaker, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this statement, but I felt in my mind, if Bray Wyatt had won that match and won it convincingly over The Undertaker, it would have set him up. It would have made his time in the WWE a lot more impactful, because you would have Bray Wyatt obviously beat The Undertaker, not ending the streak, he just beat The Undertaker. It sets him up as the new face of fear. He can start picking off slowly. He can slowly pick off some of the side scrapers that are going up towards the World Heavyweight Championship belt, and then when he wins it, it wouldn't be that much of a shock. Right now, if he was to win it, hypothetically, you think about it. If Bray Wyatt was to win the title next week, you'd be like,
Yeah, it's like there's no real reason that, other than you like Bray Wyatt, there's no reason to get behind. I don't honestly any title push for Bray Wyatt at this point, because he's so uninvolved, and I don't know why they feel. I feel like WWE looks at Bray Wyatt as, when we need a place filled to get a hell of a match, to get people invested, we'll call you. Otherwise, don't worry about being of any consequence to the grand scheme of things. You're just going to come along and do something cool for us every now and then. That's honestly how I feel like they view Bray Wyatt at this point.
yeah.
So,
No, that's fair enough thing.
Yeah. So who do you think is going to win the match?
I'm going with Bray Wyatt. Because I feel like it's the only logical thing, and I know WWE may choose to agree, very well may choose to agree, but I'm going with Bray Wyatt. Lock Bray Wyatt in for me.
Yeah, I think Bray is going to win, because at this point, a Ryback win would just be a huge act of disrespect, a serious act of disrespect, if you let Ryback get over on Bray Wyatt. I honestly think I would cancel my WWE subscription at that point if I saw that shit. because that would just be ridiculous. But all right, so the match that we skipped over to do that first, which again I don't know why they have that listed before the Bray Wyatt match in between the championship match, but we have the U.S. Championship match, an I Quit match between John Cena and Rusev. Now, I don't know why they felt like they needed to do an I Quit match. That Russian chain match was garbage, for the most part. Uh, so why you need to do another gimmick match between these two, I don't know. Um, I don't see this being a good match at all. Especially since I feel really bad for Rusev because now think about this. Think about this. Leading up to WrestleMania, no one had beat Rusev. Rusev beat everybody. Not only did he beat everybody, for the most part, he beat everybody in dominating fashion, including John Cena at some point. He dominated John Cena. WrestleMania comes, Cena, gets the title. Okay, cool, fine. We move on to Extreme Rules. They have that shitty chain match and anticlimactic win for John Cena. Okay, that's 2 strikes. How bad would it be to see a man who, like, it had to have been damn near 100, if not more than 100 matches that Rusev fought in his time from his debut to the loss at WrestleMania. Again, he dominated for the most part. Now, the guy who he fucking made pass out is his kryptonite, and he'll lose 3 times in a row to this guy. How does that make Rusev look? Seriously.
I think the stipulation for this match instantly already confirms the result. Many had doubt that Rusev would beat Cena again, but I think locking it in as an I Quit match has basically said, look, John Cena is walking away as champion. Because what has John Cena said basically since he turned into Super Cena? He says he'll never give up. So the only logical way you could think that Rusev could win if he does win is if he makes Cena pass out for the accolade, which I honestly don't see happening. I see Cena retaining. I can't. I honestly cannot look at this match in any other way. I just see Cena retain.
Yeah, and that's just the same because you're just burying Rusev at this point because say this is the final match of this whole rivalry. Now Cena, he wins. He has everything to move on to. He still has his open challenge where he can just showcase different talent, trying to go for his belt until you're ready to take it up off him. But what does Rusev do?
Yeah.
What is his niche? What is his niche in the game? He's been built as this like guy that you hate because he hates the United States and he held the precious United States belt with disdain. Okay, well he has the belt on him. The belt's not on him anymore. So now he's going against quote unquote America's darling, John Cena, trying to capture his belt back. Well, you're in the feud with that. So what's his angle? Because him fighting with Lana potentially, that's not going to be that appealing, Who's going to be his rival? What's the angle on the rivalry? You've kept this guy pretty much isolated from building any type of interaction beyond dominating the rest of the roster. That now, what's the deal? I don't get it. You can't get him back to Sheamus because Sheamus is a heel now. So what's
and like I've always said with Rusev's gimmick, I said it from the start. It's the exact same as Vladimir Kozlov said. It at the time it seems good to have a superstar dominating the competition, But if you don't plan for what happens after he loses his first match, because at the end of the day, you're going to lose a match. If you don't plan out what happens after he loses, the whole thing's going to fall apart. And you're seeing it with Rusev, prime example. He's falling apart because now you know he's not going to win this feud. What next? Where does he go? He's out of the title picture. What does he do? It's a question that needs to be asked.
Yeah, and WWE in their current state, they are not very good at foreshadowing. So it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, I think we're both going with Cena to win in this one.
Yeah.
Even though it would be more beneficial for Rusev to get the belt back. At the end of the day, I think Cena's just going to continue to roll on. All right, so we're now at the final match of the pay-per-view, and that is the Fatal 4-Way for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. You have Dean Ambrose, who was a late throw-in, against Randy Orton and Roman Reigns. All three of those people are trying to take out Seth Rollins for the title. It's all right. So Seth can't lose. If WWE wants to continue to build on what could be a potential good storyline leading to a turn, they can't by no means allow Seth to lose. Now, I was never clear on what Kane's whole situation is. He's supposed to be there to make sure that he proves his loyalty, but he has no real official capacity other than you have to show us that you're loyal.
Yeah.
Now I'm cool with that angle because I feel like if they get rid of Kane, then maybe we can get Kane to change his pants. He doesn't have to put on the whole big red machine suit. You know, he doesn't have to have the mask and the fake hair. Just put back on the maskless Kane trunks and stop wrestling in your goddamn loafers and dress slacks. For God's sake. I would like to see the old versus Kane back, not corporate Kane. So there's potential for that happening. As I've said before, I feel like this is a good way to show that there's cracks within the authority. Like people are starting to get disenfranchised, perhaps, with Seth Rollins. Maybe that could start towards putting it to where he gets abandoned by the authority and has to turn face. So this match can be a good catalyst for a lot of things, but the match itself, to me, I just sit here and like, oh, it's just being done because you need the champion to be on the pay-per-view, and that's it. That's how I see the match so far.
Well, yeah, no, I understand the angle you're saying from.
At the same time, I think I've repeated this since Raw when Dean Ambrose stood tall. In my eyes, it's just a matter of which superstar, whether it be Orton, Rollins, or Reigns, which one of them pinned Dean Ambrose. Because in my eyes, he's the one that's going to cop the pin. It's just the way I see it. And I'm looking at this match in a view of I can't see Randy Orton winning. Like Randy for me is just there because he's a big time performer, but he's not going to win the belt. So you got to weigh it up here. Right now, it's Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Obviously, Roman Reigns will stick in the title picture no matter the result. I feel like it's going to be the situation of Seth Rollins picks up the pinfall. He wins. It doesn't matter how he wins. I'm assuming by pinfall he wins, and it could be something as simple as Randy takes out Dean Ambrose, and then say Seth Rollins on the ground. You have Roman Reigns spear Randy Orton, and you think Roman Reigns is about to win, and then basically Seth Rollins just throws Roman Reigns out of the ring. and then picks up the pinfall or something along the lines of that. But I feel, and I agree with what you were saying there, that in a sense, he has to win. He has to retain here, and they do need to break apart the Authority, because the Authority are playing a bigger part in title matches than ever. Like, it's becoming annoying to the point where they're actually affecting the results. Think about the last pay-per-view, the cage match between Seth Rollins and Randy Orton. That was so stale, that ending, simply because you had Kane come in and ruin the match. And it's going to happen again at this pay-per-view. There will be interference because there's no disqualification in a fatal four-way.
Yeah, that's a big. The Authority is funny because I've heard this said before, and I have to agree. The angle of using the Authority is kind of played now. It kind of holds things in a pattern, and it's really clear because again, it goes back to that whole point I was making about how they seem to be held to giving a certain number of people opportunities and not branching off and going deep into their roster. WWE has a lot of talent, but they build these storylines, especially with the Authority, that keeps the focus on just a handful of people while everybody else just flounders around, shows up occasionally, maybe job to these people who are in the main focus of the storyline. But it's like the roster ends up being at a standstill. Someone like Bray Wyatt would probably have been bigger than what he is now had we not have to continually focus on all these people associated with the Authority. Because I mean, think about this. I'm looking through the entire pay-per-view, right? Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3. I could go through like, okay, scratch the Ascension Mandow Axel match. They don't count towards the Authority. Neither does the Bella Twins match. The tie with King Barrett is that Wade Barrett was given opportunities by the Authority to get the IC belt before, and they've thrown him opportunities. So there's an association with the Authority there. Sheamus, when he betrayed the team, he got hurt during the whole Survival Series thing. And you have Dolph Ziggler, who's always been a big enemy of the Authority. So there's a screw angle with the Authority there. The New Day has done things recently that the Authority has approved or has asked them to do. So there's the Authority putting their hands in the tag team championship. Rusev worked with the Authority during Survivor Series, and who set up this I Quit match? Rusev had Lana go to the Authority and get permission to have this match. There you go. The Authority is working their magic on the U.S. Championship right there. Even to the slight degree, the Authority had an effect on where RAIDMAX direction was going. So it wouldn't surprise me if an Authority angle came out of this match either. And then the championship, of course, is just all Authority. You have an ex-Authority member. You actually have the Shield, who were screwed by the Authority when Seth left them. Seth Rollins is their boy who's going through it with the Authority. It just imposes their will over everything. And it's like, it's not about wrestlers anymore. It's about what does the Authority allow. It's not about I'm good enough to compete for this and I challenge you like it used to be back in the day. Nothing happens unless the Authority is involved in. That's pretty damn sad. Pretty damn sad, because that means that they have no creative writing anymore, in my opinion. If that's all you have to lean back is the Authority.
They're having too much of an effect on the results of matches, and I think that's the biggest. They shouldn't have this. Like, they shouldn't be affecting matches this much to this extent.
No, they shouldn't. It's got to come to a point where the wrestlers have a bigger impact on their future than this ominous figure. The ominous figure needs to take a step back and allow the natural rivalries to develop, not just establish things because I'm with this team, you're with that team, and we're just gonna go at it, you know? Because I think, and honestly, we would probably be invested a lot more in a lot of these other matches if they actually got real features and real build up. Whereas the authority stuff dominates. They totally fucking dominate everything. So it's crazy,
Yeah.
and they're gonna dominate this match too. Because, like you said, we're gonna have Seth Rollins retain his belt because either Kane's gonna like show his loyalty, or he's gonna try to betray him, and J&J Security and Triple H and Big Show are gonna get involved, and Seth's gonna be rescued. He's gonna walk out with the title.
Yeah, and that's just the honest truth as far as I see that going, and it's quite disappointing. Though, to be fair, for me, I'm still pretty interested in that match, seeing the way it heads and what else happens in it. Because you got to think they're four of the top superstars. So, regardless of how irritated I get at the WWE, how they're writing these matches and the creative teams doing what they're doing, I'm still going to give them the benefit of the doubt this match because I just want to see a good match. They're superstars.
Yeah, I think they're gonna put on an entertaining match. But I think it's gonna be like you said with the end of the Extreme Rules Championship match. You're gonna get like a crappy finish to it. I just see a really good match being ended with the finish that's gonna have you scratching your head and you're just gonna be like, why? Just why? Only way that it could be salvaged is that somehow the curb stomp comes back. Then I'll be satisfied.
Yeah, but very very unlikely. But overall, I'm gonna leave it at for this pay per view. I'm not overly excited, like I'm not over the moon, but it like you said, it was just way too quick between the last pay per view to this one. That it hasn't really given much build time. It's just kind of just fallen in our laps. Like here we go, here's another pay per view. So I'm gonna say don't expect too much from this pay per view, but we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, I get pray for it, people. Just enjoy. Put it this way: don't expect to get a lot of great storytelling, but just enjoy the action. Just enjoy the action of the matches, because it's really there's not much to this to get excited about other than potentially seeing some good spots happening. But I guess that's pretty much it for the prediction show. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add before we sign out?
No, just hope everyone enjoys it. Hopefully, we can find something to find enjoyable ourselves. And remember, this time, 100% lock it in. We will be live directly after with Flying Modem and Payback. Hopefully, it's not too bad. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. And like Pete said, it'll be me, him, and Flying Modem. Yes, Flying Modem, you will be there. So don't worry. With the results, giving our reactions to what happened on the pay-per-view immediately live. A couple of quick notes. Early in that day, I'm going to plan on doing a WWE 2K15 simulation show where I kind of do a like pre-show myself where we can just sit and we could watch the matches play out on WWE, talk about, with you guys, what you think is going to happen, your feelings directly. So link will be in the description to my Twitch channel. Just head over there when you see it go live Sunday and we can kick it. I think it's going to be around 4 p.m. Eastern. So you guys just come through and hang out with me there. again, we will be going live after the pay-per-view, so expect that definitely to happen. And I think that's about it. So with that, I'm going to bid you guys a farewell. Pete, go ahead and say goodbye to the people.
Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you next week. Oh, well, we'll catch you after the pay-per-view, which is technically next week. For me.
Yes, definitely. We will catch you guys on Sunday after Payback. Hope you enjoy the show. Hope you enjoy the pay-per-view. And we'll see you there. Peace.